What had felt like weeks were really just days going by. And for some reason, Jacob had found himself inside of a designer store. Yeah, it had been just days since he had linked up with Clara Jones. And now he was out and about looking for a shirt. And all he could hear was the elevator humming, a steady hum, the dull mechanical rhythm vibrating through the soles of Jacob's shoes, fluorescent lights as they buzzed overhead. You know, too white, too harsh for the time of night. He leaned against the side rail, scrolling half-heartedly through his phone, when the soft crackle of familiar melody began to filter through the speaker above him. At first he thought it was just background noise, one of those corporate playlists designed to fill silence without being noticed. But then the chorus cut through unmistakable, even under the elevator's thin acoustics. "Now, you're just somebody that I used to know," said the lyrics. Jacob chuckled under his breath. A breakup anthem, if there was ever one. It was like poetic justice. For everything that he had either gone through or was going through, it just seemed like it really was the breakup artist. You know that funny feeling of when you say you see a blue car and then every other car you see is blue? Or maybe you haven't seen a cat for a while and you think of a cat and then all you can do is keep seeing cats all day long. Poetic it was, really. It had been stuck in the elevator with that song in his ears. Right at that moment, the doors slid open into the 5th floor, and it stepped someone Jacob hadn't seen in years. Broad shoulders, a little older around the eyes, but he was unmistakable. "Jacob," the man said, blinking, head tilting like he wasn't sure if memory was playing a trick. Jacob straightened. "Ethan?" The years collapsed instantly. High school lockers, Friday night games, the clumsy dances where everything felt both urgent and trivial. They hadn't seen or spoken to each other since graduation. But here they were, as if pulled back into time. He was in Jacob's orbit by some invisible thread. Ethan broke into a grin. "Man, I thought it was you. What are the odds?" "Yeah, I know," said Jacob, smirking. Small city, isn't it?" They shook hands, the brief embrace of a man hug, almost half knowing each other to fully being aware that they had been brothers once upon a time. The elevator creaked upward, carrying with it the awkwardness of catching up in a confined space. "It's been too long," Ethan said. "I heard you stayed local." "Yeah," Jacob said, "something like that. I've traveled overseas, but I came back." Ethan scratched his jaw, hesitated, and laughed. "This is going to sound weird, but you ever hear about that guy that, they're writing him up in all the tabloids, like they're calling him the breakup artist or guru," said Jacob. "Some columns online even keep writing about him, don't they?" Jacob raised his eyebrow while Ethan still was speaking about the breakup artist. Yeah, I've heard of him." Ethan animated. Yeah. His voice a mix of amusement and skepticism. Supposedly this guy, anonymous of course, who helps people in, their relationship. Like if they don't know what to do about it, he just gets in there, figures it out, tells them the advice, and boom, the very next day, the couple that's going through something, they're no longer going through it. What do you think? Is it real or not? Asked Jacob. "Well, who knows?" Half smiling. "It's just wild, isn't it?" Jacob let the corners of his mouth twitch. "Sounds unconventional." Unconventional is one of the words you could use. Ethan leaned against the elevator wall. The write-up made him sound like some sort of urban legend, like a superhero, from like back in the day that they write about, Batman or something, but just for bad relationships. Jacob chuckled softly, eyes on the flickering floor numbers above the door. He could feel Ethan studying him, but he didn't turn. "You believe that stuff? Like for real?" Jacob asked. Ethan shrugged. "I don't know, but I mean, if you're going through it, and heck, relationships are hard. So as he rubbed the back of his neck, sometimes I kind of wish I had him. Like, I could ask. You don't want to put everything on you, and you don't know what you're doing when you're like in the middle of the storm. Jacob finally met his eyes. Well, what do you mean? Ethan exhaled slowly, the weight of something unsaid pressing against his chest. Man, I've been stuck. Man. I've been stuck for like years now. And I don't know how to get out of it. The elevator chimed to the 10th floor. The door slid open, revealing a quiet hallway, but neither man moved. Ethan gestured the corridor. You want to go get something to drink? There's a spot up the street I know. My treat. You know, we can take the bridge and, yeah, just let me know. It's in the other building. Jacob hesitated. Anonymity meant distance. It meant never leaving fingerprints on the lives he intervened in. But this was Ethan, a face from the past, a reminder of simpler times before. The breakup artist became a whispered myth. All right, Jacob said. Hey, let's go grab a drink. They sat in a corner booth at this spot. Could have been anywhere in any city. The hum of the jazz music concocting all over them. Ethan stirred what was in his cup, endlessly, not drinking it as if there was more to it, trying to get the words to say to Jacob. He was chasing circles with his spoon. You know, she was meant to be temporary, Ethan blurted out. One of those post-college we'll see where it goes things, but that months turned into years, and she left stuff in my place and moved in without asking, and I don't know, now it's like his voice had trailed off, searching. Like we're roommates. We share bills and forced smiles and holidays with each other's family. Jacob leaned back silent. He'd heard the vibrations of this story dozens of times. Lovers who forgot how to be loved, clinging to routine because routine was easier than honesty. She's not a bad person, Ethan added. Well, you sound like you're defending her. That's the worst part, Ethan said. It's not dramatic, you know, it's nothing big. I just want to be like I'm betraying her. We don't fight, we're there. And I don't want to be that jerk who says it out loud, but Jacob smirked faintly. She was waiting for her to say it. Ethan groaned. Damn. Yeah. But she won't. She never will. Like I can't. We keep pretending. He set the spoon down with a clink. That's why when I heard about the breakup guy, I thought, man, I wish I knew who it was and I'd ask him. Jacob folded his hands. He didn't confirm and didn't deny it. Well, let's say you did know him. What would you say? Ethan's laugh was dry and humorless. I'd beg him to take me off the hook, man. Give me his wisdom, how to get out of it. The silence sit for a moment, broken only by the hiss of an espresso martini that was coming up. The coffee machine was pumping out the milk that was going to be poured into the glass. Jacob watched his old friend, older now, worn thin by the years of inertia. The Ethan he remembered had been reckless, loud, always the first to leap without thinking. This Ethan was quieter. He was dulled by comfort. You know what the hardest part is, Ethan? What? Ethan asked, with his voice low, intrigued, waiting for the advice. It's not the part about leaving. It's admitting that you should have left years ago. That feels crueler somehow, doesn't it? Like you wasted her time. Ethan tilted his head. Yeah, it does feel cruel. Jacob looked him dead in the eye and said, but you know what's worse? Is you both wasted your time. Because there's this void in between you that is loud as ever, but none of your words are even saying a thing. Ethan blinked and then smiled bitterly. Yeah, probably. Actually, he paused and he said, yeah, that's definitely. Jacob didn't hand out sympathy. It wasn't his style. What people need was clarity. Honesty sharpened itself in those moments for usability. He leaned forward. Here's what I'll do, he said. No excuses, no dramatics. You sit her down and you tell her the truth. The relationship isn't working out for you anymore. And you're dragging it and have been, and it's unfair to both of you. Be firm, but be kind. Don't let it turn into a debate. You don't need her permission to end it. All you need to do is, if it's done, it's done. End it. Ethan stared at him, mouth kind of like half opened. You make it sound so easy. Jacob said, is it not? It's simple. What's the difference? You either end it now or you die knowing that you never fell in love with the person or love the person you were supposed to love in this life. Ethan laughed with a nervous sound. God, you really do sound like that guy they write up in that tabloid magazine. Jacob just smirked, letting the comment hang. They walked out of that bar together, the night air cool against their faces. Traffic murmured in the distance. Ethan shoved his hands into his jacket pockets. Man, you always had a way of cutting through the crap, didn't you? Ethan said. Back in high school, I remember that too. You know, you're always very diplomatic, but you told me about that girl in chemistry. You just told me straight up. She doesn't even know my name. Why waste my time with her? Jacob chuckled. Brutal, but honest. Yeah, Ethan said. Brutal. Guess some things just never change. Jacob didn't respond. Some things hadn't changed, but also some had. Some had a lot. As they reached the corner, one way was Ethan's, the other Jacob. Ethan stopped. Can I ask you something else? Jacob raised his eyebrows. Ethan said, if you were that guy, if you really are him, would you even tell me? For a short, temporary pause, Jacob said nothing. The city buzzed around them, indifferent. He could see the question in Ethan's eyes, not just curiosity, but hope. Hope that someone else could carry the burden for him. Not just the words, not just the actions, but the fact that there's someone out there who knows what to do and say all the time. Jacob let a small smirk slowly creep out and spread across his face. If I were him, I'd probably say what I've already said. Ethan studied his face, waiting for more, but nothing came. Finally, he laughed, shaking his head. Still mysterious, aren't you? And Jacob said, some things just never change. They clasped hands again, that half-man embrace shake, but this time it was warmer. It was as if the weight of history and unspoken truths had been remedied. As letting go from one another, Ethan said, thanks, man. I know I can do it. I'm going to do it. I got to. Jacob replied, good. Just think about it. Once it's over and done with, you'll both be better for it. As Ethan walked away, Jacob watched him fade into the night crowd. Another friend, another secret, another piece of anonymity slipping, whether he admitted it or not. The city swallowed the sound of footsteps. Some were faint and distant, though. There was a street busker, strumming a guitar, the chords familiar, almost mocking how familiar they were, as the busker sang, no, you didn't have to stoop so low. Have your friends collect your records and then change your number. Guess that I don't need that, though. Now, you're just probably someone that I used to know. Jacob smiled to himself, then turned and disappeared in the opposite direction.